What's up guys, my name is Fran and welcome back to the channel, and this is the very first episode of a little series I like to call Build. So this particular episode is going to be about the 2018 Mac Mini. Now, I was going to just do a simple performance review of this particular machine. However, it has a little bit more significance than just a simple review could do justice. My 2018 Mac Mini is actually going to be the core of the entire infrastructure of my YouTube studio. So I plan on using it for a number of things such as automation processes, video rendering. It's really going to be the center console of this entire operation here. And I did plan on doing a bunch of things to it, such as a bunch of upgrades, as well as doing some eGPU testing and deployment. So I figured it would be worth it to do an entire series. So in this very first episode of Build, what we're actually going to be doing is taking a look at the actual Mac Mini itself, observing some of the changes like in the aesthetics, and then we're going to do a couple of preliminary performance testing. And that's because after I finish doing all of my upgrades to this thing, I'm hoping it doubles in power. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I personally just recently received my 2018 Mac Mini. Now what I actually did was order a custom unit, and the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to spend all of the Apple money on all the upgrades. So let me tell you guys the specifications as configured for my 2018 Mac Mini. My Mac Mini is configured with a 128GB internal SSD. It also has been configured with 8GB of DDR memory. Now yeah, I know what you guys are probably thinking. I definitely cheaped out on those two specs, but those two specs are technically upgradable. Let's talk about the areas where I didn't cheap out. So as far as the actual CPU goes, I did go for the high-end i7 8700B 3.2 GHz Intel processor. I also went for the upgraded Ethernet port, and I went for, instead of the 1 gigabit, I went for the 10 gigabit internal Ethernet port. So once I actually got this thing ripped out of its wrapper, one thing I immediately noticed is the size difference. The new 2018 Mac Mini is considerably larger than the previous generation. It is wider, it's longer, and it's also thicker. It also now comes in the space gray finish. Now for me personally, I love the space gray finish on all the Apple products. It looks really stealthy and nice. I have yet to pick up the keyboard and mouse, but I definitely will be picking it up for this Mac Mini. While looking over the 2018 Mac Mini, one thing I immediately noticed is that the bottom of the unit was technically sealed. Now the last generation also had the same feature, but we all know using a simple smudge tool, you were able to pop open the bottom and get to the internals. Now we're gonna be doing that in a later episode, but just wanted to let you guys know that. And finally, I looked over the I/O. So starting from the left over to the right, you're going to have your power button, you're going to have your AC adapter port, very similar cable to the previous generations. You're going to have your Ethernet port, which is, in my particular situation, a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. You are going to have your 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. You're then going to have your HDMI port, and then finally 2 USB-A ports. And right under all those ports, you are going to see a little area for ventilation. So this thing does pack quite a bit of power with that i7 6-core processor, and that thing is definitely going to need a lot of ventilation. So it is nice to see that they made the opening a lot larger on this generation of Mac Mini. Okay, so now that we've looked over the aesthetics and the I/O of the Mac Mini, let's go ahead and grab a keyboard, a mouse, and let's jump into some benchmarks. Okay guys, so we are at the computer, and as you can actually see here on the screen, I have all of my testing results up on the screen. Now I know this might be a little bit janky and ghetto. This isn't the full review though. For the full review, we'll have some nice pretty graphics for the testing results. However, right out of the box, the Mac Mini 6-core, these are the actual test results it is getting. Now, the first things first that we want to look at is actual CPU performance. So up in the upper left-hand corner, again, I know it's a little bit ghetto, but these are the results for my i9 1TB SSD MacBook Pro. This is the new one. It is a 6-core model. And what you can actually see here is when it comes to the raw CPU performance, when it comes to the Geekbench scores, the Mac Mini is outperforming it in both single-core as well as multi-core score. It's also way outperforming it when it comes to Cinebench performance. So looking at this as well, we're getting 1237 here on Cinebench, while on the 15-inch MacBook Pro, we're only getting around 856 CB. Now, one major area of concern actually came into place when it comes to the disk read and write speeds. So as you guys can see in the upper left-hand corner, the i9 MacBook Pro has a 1TB SSD inside of it, and this machine is actually doing much better when it comes to the write speeds as well as read speeds, but the write speeds are considerably faster. So when it comes to the AJA or AJA test, we are seeing around 2,961 megabytes per second compared to 774 on the Mac Mini. And then when it comes to the Blackmagic speed test, we are looking at 2,771 over 2,720, while we're only looking at 629 on the Mac Mini, and then 2,484 for the read speeds on the Mac Mini as well. Now, this is something I mentioned before, but chip manufacturers who make memory chips are notorious for putting slower controllers in smaller capacity SSDs. The Mac Mini does only have a 128 gigabyte SSD, so this might be the case. More testing to come in my full review. So as you guys can see from those benchmarks, the 2018 Mac Mini is a fantastic piece of hardware. All things considered, as it's currently configured, it actually can go blow for blow with the i9 MacBook Pro. And considering that as configured, my Mac Mini is about $1,300, while my MacBook Pro is around $4,500, if you're not necessarily on the market for a portable system, the Mac Mini is definitely a no-brainer. But I'm going to wrap this video up right here, guys. If you have any questions about the Mac Mini or anything technical at all, do me a favor, leave them down in the comment section below. Also, while you guys are down there, if you like these kind of videos, slam on the like button. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Once again, guys, my name is Fran. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.